Hello summoners and welcome back to another ProGuides OP Korean builds video. My name is Kellen and today I'll be going over some of the latest and most OP builds that have been rising in popularity in Korean Challenger. A bunch of you guys have been asking for our personal recommendations on this topic for quite some time, and luckily for you we have a lot of connections to Korean Challenger, so we can give you the best and latest builds to help you stay one step ahead of the competition. We made sure to include new builds for every role so you can pick from a handful of these to try for your next couple of ranked games, and also we've heard your feedback from the previous video and have implemented some of the changes you guys recommended into this one. So thanks for all those comments guys, and let's get into this video. Let's start off with top lane. Nautilus recently received a ton of huge buffs in patch 9.8, and he's pretty much being played in every role right now except for ADC. A lot of pro players have been finding success with him using a full AP build, and the build goes something like this. You want to take Aftershock with Inspiration Tree secondary with biscuits and free boots, and then you want to rush Hextech Proto Belt as your first item and transition either into a Morello or a slightly tankier build with Zhonya's. Quite a few pro players have been going a Luden's Echo for the increased burst potential, and trust me, there is a ton of burst in this build. You can very easily 100-0 your lane opponent after you get a bit of AP with your full combo, and there really isn't that much counterplay given how much crowd control Nautilus has. I've been playing a ton of AP Nautilus in the top lane, and I highly recommend you try this one out in your next few games. You will not regret it. Next up we have Ryze. Although Ryze is an S tier pick for competitive play, he's hovering around a B tier pick for top laners in solo queue. However, there is a new build that Ryze can potentially use to move up to A tier for our mid-patch analysis video. Instead of a traditional full AP route, a lot of Korean Challenger players have been building Righteous Glory as their second item. They are basically itemizing Ryze to survive all of the bursts from champions like Jace and Riven by taking Aftershock and purchasing health items. On top of all of that, pro players have almost always been going defensive boots combined with a Morellonomicon or Zhonya's for bonus tank stats. This build path is definitely situational, but it should work out most of the time. We've even seen this build pop up a few times in professional matches, which goes to show just how powerful this route is. Lastly, we have one of our favorite champions here in the top lane, and that is Neeko. Don't worry, on-hit Neeko is not coming back anytime soon, so you won't have to worry about getting nightmares from that build again. However, something that is seeing more play recently is GLP and Glacial Augment Neeko top lane. This build is being played quite a bit all around the world right now, and many pro players have been spamming it in solo queue with some great results. The build consists of Glacial Augment with Time Warp Tonic and the Domination Tree secondary for Taste of Blood and Ingenious Hunter. You want to grab yourself a Corrupting Potion first item, followed by Dark Seal, and then finally Hextech GLP. This build is extremely effective versus melee top laners because of the ability to not only kite them but also catch them and assist in ganks, and you can neutralize them no problem. On top of all of that, this is a build that the lower elos haven't caught on to yet, so playing this will catch your opponents by surprise. Try it out in your next few games and let us know how that goes down below. Alright, moving on to the jungle. Kayn was long overdue for a buff to his Shadow Assassin form, and that's exactly what he got at the start of patch 9.8. Currently, the cooldown on his E was reduced by an insane amount, and now it's only 8 seconds at all ranks. Even with the massive E buffs, the majority of players have still been going red Kayn, but we're starting to see some blue Kayn more often. In Korean Challenger, many junglers have been opting to the Shadow Assassin form if they get a lead early game and start building some full lethality items. The concept is to basically one-shot your opponent's backline before they one-shot you. It's a risky all-in type strategy, but if you're fed, there really isn't much that the enemy team can do. The build goes like this. You want to take Electrocute for the increased burst, followed by the Precision Tree for more damage and Coup de Grace and Triumph. Next, you want to finish your Warrior Jungle item followed by any AD item that provides lethality. If it has it, then you buy it. You're going to want as much damage as possible since you're becoming a full-on glass cannon. I'd recommend trying this out in a few normal games first so you can learn how much burst you truly have, and make sure that you practice a few more games before jumping into ranked. While it's true that Camille was almost completely gutted from the jungle a few patches ago, it is surprisingly making a decent comeback right now. This isn't because she's sleeper OP in the jungle by any means, but it's more because people have forgotten how to play against her. Even the players in Korean Challenger forgot how aggressive a Camille can be in the jungle and don't really respect her early game. On top of that, she recently had an attack speed buff, which helps her clear her camps by a small amount. For Camille jungle, you're going to want to go press the attack and then the Inspiration Tree secondary for the free boots and futures market. Next, you want to go your Warrior enchantment, followed by a Trinity Force and a Sterak's Gauge or Guardian Angel. While it's true that Tiamat was nerfed quite a bit and has a very high price point, that's what your futures market helps you do to get your Tiamat quicker. Some Camille jungles will not be building this because of its low efficiency in the jungle at the moment, and farming junglers don't really have a place in the meta right now, but it's still an important purchase on Camille. Alright, next up we have mid lane. Morgana has been sleeper OP in mid lane ever since her rework, and a lot of our analysts are surprised that many people aren't playing her right now. Hextech GLP and Glacial Augment is tearing up the Korean ladder, and currently it is one of the highest win rate builds in the entire game. It's really easy to play, and almost always does the most damage in the game due to how strong she is. Once you slow your opponents with GOP and Twin Shadows, it's really easy to be hit by the binding followed by your pool and your ultimate. There really isn't a lot of counterplay to this combo unless they flash or take cleanse, so make sure to tilt the enemy laner with this combo. The build with Glacial Augment followed by Domination with Taste of Blood and Ingenious Hunter is the same as some other champions right now, and just as we talked about with Nico top lane, and currently a lot of Aries are building this as well. One heads up though is that Morgana is probably looking to be nerfed on patch 9.9, so make sure you abuse this as much as you possibly can right now and grab that free LP. I almost always recommend this build path for people who want to climb while maining mid lane because of the easy learning curve and high damage. Our next mid lane champion is exactly the same champion that we covered in the top lane, and that's Nautilus once again. As we said, Nautilus is being played in pretty much every role except for ADC right now due to those huge buffs that he received. Much like the top lane, you should take Aftershock with Inspiration secondary, followed by a Protobelt rush into either Zhonya's or Morello. This playstyle is pretty simple and quite fun as well because of the extremely high damage potential. You want to start your combo off with your ultimate to ensure that there will be zero counterplay to the rest of your abilities, then follow up with your Q, and then face roll your keyboard from there. This build path is especially OP in the mid lane due to how squishy and immobile most mid laners are, so give it a try, it's lots of fun. Moving on to bot lane carries. There weren't that many changes made to ADCs on this patch, but we have seen a few new builds popping up and becoming more popular in Korea. To start things off, Kleptomancy Draven has been seeing more play recently, and several professional ADCs have been spamming him in ranked. Klepto has some nice synergy with Draven's abilities, especially his passive, and it allows him to stack up some easy gold during the laning phase. Just make sure to not overestimate your damage with this build and play a tad less aggressive, simply because you do not have a damaging keystone. For this build, you want to take Kleptomancy with the Precision Tree secondary for Overheal and Bloodline or Alacrity, followed by a Bloodthirster rush. Next up, we have Varus. Although in solo queue he is a rather uncommon pick, in competitive play he does see a decent amount of play with his on-hit build, and now he'll see some even more play with the reworked Wit's End. The on-hit style build for Varus has become even stronger and has a decently high win rate in solo queue. The build goes like this: you want to take Lethal Tempo, followed by the Inspiration Tree for free boots and biscuits, then rush a Bork into a Rage Blade and then into a Wit's End. With this item path, you'll shred through tanks like a hot knife going through butter, and it does take a bit of practice to get good at him though, so make sure you play a few normal games beforehand. Finally, let's talk support. Support is another role that didn't have too many balance changes this time, but lucky for you, we have some hidden OP builds for this patch that will make your opponents want to pull their hair out. One thing that we're seeing a bit more in Korea right now is Kleptomancy Lulu support. Imagine playing as Alistar or Braum and just getting constantly auto-attacked by a Kleptomancy Lulu in the bottom lane. Not only does she generate a ton of gold from Klepto, but she's always proccing her Spell Thieves, which will eventually generate a ton of gold. You can easily get to your Ardent Sensor much quicker, and then the enemy will cry. You don't even have to outfarm or kill your lane opponents, just getting the free gold with your setup, you'll come out on top on the laning phase automatically. For this build, you want to take Kleptomancy followed by the Sorcery Tree for Mana Flow Band and Scorch, and I actually versed this bottom lane a couple of days ago and it was so freaking annoying. Just hearing her spam laugh as she auto-attacked my support was a tilting experience, and I'm even thinking of banning her from now on. Lastly, we have our final OP build for patch 9.8, which is Camille support, and yes, you heard it right, the Steel Shadow is being played in the bottom lane. Although it seems like a troll pick, it's surprisingly good and works out pretty well. Her engage and lockdown potential pretty much rivals those of Alistar, except she has better roaming and ganking. For Camille support, you want to take Aftershock followed by the Inspiration Tree for Biscuits and Cosmic Insight, then rush Remnant of the Aspect, and then finally once you finish that, you want to go a Trinity Force if you're ahead, or a Sterak's Gauge if you're behind. Although we've seen this before in competitive play a couple of seasons ago back with Courage of the Colossus, Camille support is back up on the rise. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for our new OP Korean builds video. We would love to hear your suggestions on how to make these videos better, so if you have something to add, let us know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed watching this, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more content in the future. Also, before you go, check out ProGuides.com for our videos and guides made by your favorite pro players such as Nightblue, BunnyFufu, and Mike Young. Also, we're going to start uploading a lot more content within the coming weeks, so make sure you hit that bell button to be notified of every single upload. That's it for now, and thanks for watching. We will see you on the Rift.